So in the last lecture, we wrote this code to handle errors when creating a vehicle. But this is not the only place in our application where we're contacting the server. So earlier in the course, we implemented this ng on init. And here we have two separate calls to the server to get the makes and features of vehicles. Now it's going to be tedious to repeat all that error handling code here and in other parts of the application. There must be a better way. Well, in Angular, we have this class called error handler. And anytime an error is thrown in your application, it hits this error handler class. We can derive a class from this error handler and use that to intercept error messages. And there we'll have a central place to handle all the error messages in the application. In that case, we want to display toast notifications. So first, in the app folder, I'm going to add a new file. Call it app.error-handler. Here I'm going to export a class. Call it app error handler. And derive this from error handler class that is defined in Angular. Let's import the namespace. So it's defined in Angular/core. Now, let's implement this class. Beautiful. So this handle error method is where we write the global error handling code. So ideally, we want to display a toast notification here. But for now, let's just do it step by step. I just want to display a message in the console, just to make sure that all the plumbing code is working. Okay? Now we need to tell Angular to use this class instead of the error handler class. So let's go to app module. In the providers array, where we do our dependency injection, here we're going to add an object. This object should have two properties. Provide, which we set to error handler, and use class, which we set to app error handler. Now let's import the namespaces. So with this syntax, we're telling Angular wherever it needs an instance of the error handler class, it should create an instance of app error handler. Now let's go back to our vehicle form component. I'm going to remove this error handling code from our component because I want to move it somewhere central. So delete, and let's just delete this arrow function as well. So we're going to have a simple subscribe method. Now let's go to app.errorhandler. I'm going to paste this code for using Toasty, but for now, let's just comment it out and make sure all the plumbing is working. Save. Back in the browser, I'm going to click the save button. Now in the console, we have this error message. So wherever we have an error in the application, our custom error handler is used. Now let's replace this with a Toasty. So first we need to add the constructor. Here we add private Toasty service of type Toasty service. And then in handle error, we're going to use this Toasty service. Save. Now when you get back to the browser, if you refresh, you're going to see this error. Can't resolve all parameters for app error handler. The reason we got this error is because this class app error handler is initialized before we import the Toasty module. So if you go to app module, look, this is where we're importing this Toasty module. And when we import this module, some of the internal classes are registered as providers for dependency injection. Now, because this class is instantiated before we import the Toasty module, Angular doesn't know how to inject an instance of the Toasty service in the constructor of this class. So we need to instruct it manually. And to do that, we need to import the inject decorator from Angular/core. And then we decorate this parameter with inject decorator. As the argument, we add Toasty service. So we're telling Angular to inject an instance of this Toasty service in this class. Okay, save. Back in the browser, refresh. Beautiful. And click the save button. Now the first time we click this button, we don't see the notification. If you click again, and once again in less than 5 seconds, you see the toast notification. In the next lecture, I'm going to explain why this happens and how to fix it.